Hello and welcome to Financial Planning Making Sense. It's Peter here, and today we're going to talk about an area that's extremely important to anybody who's involved with a business or indirectly involved with somebody who's involved in a business. And that's, of course, business succession planning. Because when it comes down to it, a lot of people, whether you buy into your business or whether you've inherited it or whether you have set it up yourself, the focus is always on getting the business right. Producing the income, delivering the service, the products, whatever it is that you do. And then there's all the other parts of it, of course, that are involved with the people and personnel and so on. I don't need to go into that. But outside of that, there is this business itself, which is an entity, which should become more of your personal assets so that you can direct it for your future. And time and again with clients, what we find is when it comes to actually arranging the retirement planning, the estate planning, protection planning, the business, what's going to happen with the business usually is a stumbling block. So what I've done is put together the 4 key areas, the 4 cornerstones of business succession planning that I do for clients as part of the financial planning. And what I'm going to be able to do is show you, by focusing on these 4 areas, and answering them to yourselves, you're only technicalities, documentation and conversations away from putting a structure in place so that you know where your business is now, where it's going to be going in the future, and where you're going to be going when you actually move on from it as well. So, without further ado, the first area we're going to look at is succession itself. And you have to answer these 3 important questions. Is how do you plan to allow the business to succeed on? Is it going to be sold? Is it going to be passed on? Is it going to be, you're going to sell your shares to co-directors or partners if you have them? And if so, in what form is that going to happen? If you have family, how are they going to be affected if one son or daughter or more gets the shares of the business? And how does it affect your other estate plan arrangements that you have? When? Very, very key. A lot of people say, yes, sure, someday when the time is right, I'm going to be leaving the business. But they don't actually pick a date. When I put together a business succession plan, we always pick a date, not just a year. We pick a month. And we pick a date within that month. And that gives you something to aim for. Because we put the structure in place, now you have a target, and then we can actually move on from there. We know how business is going to be succeeded on, to whom, and when. No guarantees, but at least the structure, the plan will be there. The second part of that, of course, is when you actually leave, before you leave the business in a normal sense, what contingency do you have in place? If you're a one-man operation, for example, are you going to put together a system whereby somebody can come along and fit into your shoes and operate the business the same as you are? That way, perhaps you're going to give yourself a bit more value for what the business is worth to somebody from outside. If something was to happen you yesterday and you're no longer going to be able to work for about 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years, who knows? How is it going to affect the business? How is it going to affect your co-workers, your colleagues, co-directors, partners? How is it going to affect your family? And of course, in event of death, how are things going to work out there? You might have an arrangement in place where you think that perhaps you are going to buy another person's shares if they die and they're going to buy your shares. Is the money there? Or will your actual family be looking at the shareholding of a business but without the value that's attributed to that because the other partners or surviving directors in the business don't have the funds to buy those shares? And without those shares, they're in a position that they don't have full control of their business. This is business protection planning. I'm not going to go into any great detail of it now, but that can be for another day. But this is very, very key. The third part is compensation and how. In other words, are you going to be expected to actually receive a lump sum at the time of you leaving the business? or is it something that can be done that can allow you to get compensation before the sale date or the moving on date, or even after? Because there's more than, there are many means and ways of getting proper compensation for the business. Particularly the family business, it's very difficult to perhaps pass on the business to a family member and at the same time expect them to come up with a considerable amount of money. But why wait until that day or that year comes about? Why not actually put some thought into it now? Because there are many means of having wealth extraction from the business between now and when you plan to leave. And at the time of leaving, there are other methods that can be used, and afterwards. So it's not just a case of picking one spot and hoping for the best. We can actually put something in place before, during and after the future agreed business succession date. The final part of this is, of course, a business agreement and exit strategy. Now, it's widely reported that somewhere in the region of 30% of businesses do not pass or do not survive into second generation, and less than 15% into third generation. A lot of this is because there is no actual structure in place that allows for the business interests, shares and wealth to be passed on properly to co-directors or to family members. A lot of businesses, in fact a vast majority of businesses, don't seem to have business agreements. They seem complicated things. They can be, but they can also be simplified. They can be simplified the way that you want them. And once you have a business agreement in place, everyone knows exactly where they're standing. And they know where things are going to go for the future. And within that business agreement, have an exit strategy. It can be built within the agreement, it can be part of a business share sale agreement separate to it, but it can be done. Now, these are the 4 cornerstones of business succession planning. There are a lot of questions and areas within each of these, and I'm not going to enter that now, but I will have a PDF for you. You'll see here on this web page where you just put in your name and your email, and I can send you on a checklist that covers the most fundamental questions in these 4 areas. You may want to have a chat about what it is that we're talking about here, and my details will be on that form as well. You want to talk to your accountant or solicitor and get more advice in this area, it will be very, very important for you to do so. So what I'm going to do is leave it with you, and as I say, just put your name and email into the box, and I'll be able to forward you on. You'll be able to download the checklist for business succession planning. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Peter Riley, and talk to you again soon. Bye bye.